Hello everyone, it's Reverend Mark here. I'm back in church today, as you can probably see, and behind me is the big white candle, the one that represents Jesus, reminding us that Jesus is always with us. And we like that in all of our services. Now what I want to do today, we're going to think about thankfulness. That's the theme for the story today. And we're going to read the story, one of the stories in this Bible, this Lion Storyteller Bible. And Lucy's going to read the story. The first thing I need to say is just a little bit of an explanation, because they mentioned some people who are called lepers. And really that's just a word that means it's somebody who's got this nasty disease called leprosy. And it's a horrible disease that makes people very ill and can actually make them disabled so that they can't walk properly, they can't use their hands properly, all these kinds of things. It's a very, very horrible disease. And a lot of people had it in olden times, and Jesus met some of them, and we're going to hear the story from Lucy now.
The man who came back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were 10 lepers on the road one day, and no one would go near them. Their fingers were numb, their faces were scarred. They were terribly, terribly ill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were 10 lepers on the road one day, and Jesus came walking by. Jesus, they cried. Oh, Jesus, they begged. Save us. Please make us well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were 10 lepers on the road one day, and Jesus prayed for them. Now go, he said. Go, find a priest, and he'll tell you if you are well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were 10 lepers on the road that day, and then suddenly there weren't. Their fingers were fine, their faces like new. They were happy and healed and whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 lepers, who weren't lepers anymore, rushed off to share their good news. But leper number 10 went straight back to Jesus to thank him for what he had done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I healed 10 lepers on the road today, said Jesus to the man. But where are the rest? Never mind. I'm just pleased that you came back to thank me.
Thank you, Lucy, for reading that story for us. And in that story, there were 10 people, weren't there, who had this horrible disease called leprosy. And it was a very dangerous disease. We've got a very dangerous disease going around at the moment, COVID-19, that's making people very ill and killing some people. Some people are dying with it. Well, leprosy in ancient times was like that. People had this disease that made them very, very unwell. And what happened was they couldn't feel things in their fingers or in their toes. And then they'd hurt their finger or hurt their toe and cut it. They wouldn't realise it had been cut. And they would have a horrible infection. And things would go wrong and they'd become disabled by it. And people were so afraid of this disease that if somebody had it, they said, well, you can't come to school. You can't stay in your own home. You've got to go and live outside somewhere else. You became homeless. So it was horrible. And of course, doctors couldn't treat it because their doctors didn't know enough about it. And so when Jesus came along and cured the people from leprosy, that meant that they didn't have pain anymore. They were able to go back to their homes, back to their families. They maybe could go back to school again and actually pick up their education. And so they'd been really, really delighted when they were told that they were cured. But I wonder if you can remember in the story, how many came back to say thank you to Jesus for healing them from this dreadful disease? Yeah, that's right, there was only one. And really the theme of the story is thankfulness. And the fact that Jesus had such wonderful power from God to be able to heal people from dreadful diseases. Now, we can't do that the way that Jesus did it, because Jesus was God's son and had that wonderful power from God. Well, we do have wonderful scientists and doctors and nurses and specialists who can actually find vaccinations, like they've found a vaccination for this horrible COVID-19 disease that some of us have been suffering from. But really what we need to remember from the story is to be thankful. So we need to be thankful to people who help us. So people that help us maybe with something in school or something at home, or maybe just people that help us when we're out and about in the street or in the park. Maybe something happens to your ball and somebody goes and gets it and gives it back to you. You always should say thank you. And of course we should say thank you to our mums and dads for looking after us so well. And for maybe your grandparents and other aunties and uncles and people who look after you. So you've got to be thankful to them. And I think at this time, at the end of the school year, you should be thankful to your teachers for all that they've taught you and all the ways that they've helped you too. But most of all, we've got to remember to be thankful to God, because he created this wonderful world that we've got and everything in it, all the good things in it that we can actually enjoy. So always be thankful to God and be thankful to those who help us all too. Now, as I said, we're coming to the end of the school year and you're looking forward in a day or two to going off on a summer break. So I hope that you have a wonderful time. You get time to get out in the sunshine and to play outside and to do the wonderful things that you've been really wishing and hoping you could do, but you've had to come to school. So now we're coming to the holidays. You've got that time to go and enjoy yourselves. So I hope you do have a wonderful summer, and I'll see you all again in the new year in September. So have a wonderful summer. Goodbye.